Chickies, here at Oh My Gosh Polish, mistakes will be made. As per usual, it'll be loads of fun, so you should totally subscribe now.
Okay, so before we get into that, I just want to say something. I know there's going to be some people who don't like what I say, but just sit and listen to it anyway. I promise you, it's coming from a really good place. Now, I found, or I came across this piece of writing from a gentleman by the name of John Pavlovich, sorry. He runs a website. I think it's called Things That Need to Be Said. He's got some really interesting writing. Now, this particular piece I'm about to read to you, he actually posted in November of 2016. So that's how really that's why it piqued my interest even more, because it was written back in November, but it's so relevant today. Anyway, I really want you to hear this. Okay, so basically it's called If You Voted for Him. So you know what I'm talking about. If you voted for him, I really need you to hear something right now. I believe you. I believe I believe I believe when you say you're not a racist. I believe when you say you're not a bigot. I believe you when you say you're not a homophobic. I believe you when you say you're not a misogynist. I believe you when you say you're not an Islamophobe. I believe you when you say you're not an anti-Semite. I believe you when you say you don't condone violence and discrimination and bullying. But what I won't believe, won't, but I won't keep believing you if you remain silent. I know you had a legitimate reason for voting for him. Things that either real or imagined genuinely moved you to your decision, and that you wrestled with these reasons greatly. But I don't care about those reasons. Not because I don't care about you or value you or want you to understand or want to understand you, or because I don't respect your road, but because those reasons can't help those who are hurting or threatened right now. Only your response can. You see, regardless of why you voted for him, you did vote for him. Your affirmation of him and your elevation of him to this position came with what you knew about him. It came after hearing the horrible, degrading, vile things he said about women. It came after hearing him encourage his supporters to be violent with protesters. It came after he advocated for Muslims to be expelled and profiled. It came after he made fun of a man with physical disability. It came after he framed the Black Lives Matter movement as criminal and subversive. It came after he personally criticized the appearance and weight and sexual activity of women opponents. It came after he chose a vice president who believes gay people can pray away their gayness. It came after the KKK and the neo-Nazis endorsed him. These were all things you had to weigh to cast your vote, and by whatever method you used, you declared that these things within your morally acceptable parameters, or within your morally acceptable parameters. You deemed these parts of the lesser of two evils. In voting your conscience, these things made the cut. And so the whys of your vote matter less now than the who of your vote. That person is here, and everything happening now is the reality you and I need to deal with together. Both of our intentions have to yield to the moment we stand in together. And I need you to speak now. If the acts of violence towards people of color and the harassment of the Muslim community and the anti-Semitic graffiti and the misogynistic assaults on women make you sick, if they are not your heart, if they are not acceptable, if they are not who you are, say so. And if the appointment of a chief advisor to the president who has shown blatant, explicit, incendiary hatred for people of color and Jewish people and the Muslim community is not what you consented to with your vote, then you need to say that too. I want to believe that you do value equality and diversity and in the inherent value of every person as much as I do. I want to believe that people are precious to you, no matter their color or gender or faith, tradition or sexual orientation. But if you refuse to speak into the events of these days, if you choose to stay silent, whether out of fear or shame or buyer's remorse or ambivalence, I will have no choice but to believe that you are okay with all of this. And here's the thing, friend. if you were to say that you are not okay with all of this, if you were to stand up to the bigots and the racists and the misogynists and the homophobes and the anti-Semites and the xenophobes, you will find that I will stand with you. I will live and work and worship alongside you, and you will find me a willing, available, and caring partner in the crafting of the future of this country. I promise you. I will not hold your vote against you because I trust that you have arrived to that vote as carefully, prayerfully, and seriously as I did mine. But make no mistake, I will hold your silence now against you. I will hold your inaction against you. I will hold your refusal to see the pain of those your vote has at least in some part initiated against you. I will hold your lack of compassion for the marginalized against you. So yes, I believe you are not the horrible things I see from the hateful, vicious, intolerant few from the fringes, but the belief comes with the expectation that I will hear you now, that you will shout to the fringes that this is not what you meant by making America great. It comes with the expectation that you will tell the president and your elected officials and your pastors that these things do not have a place in the country you desire. It comes with the expectation that you speak now to the marginalized and that you reiterate their worth, hear their grief, validate their fear, and that you come to their defense in both word and intangible support. Friend, you may feel like you are being attacked these days, but you're not. You're being challenged to be the person you tell us you are. If you voted for him, I do not believe that automatically makes you the enemy. Only your silence is the face of this hatred. In the face of this hatred can do that. Please speak now so I can know you. And that was all from John Pavlovich. I'll put a link down below. Some of his writings are really amazing. He has actually done some writings after what happened at Charlottesville over the weekend. He wrote a particularly beautiful piece for Heather Heyer, who died at the hands of a neo-Nazi terrorist. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people who say to me, Tammy, you're in Australia. It doesn't apply to you. Butt out. But I have to tell you that it does actually apply to me. My own Prime Minister has already put his hand up to go to war in North Korea with your president, if need be. So, I mean, we have been allies for over 100 years of America, and we do follow you. Now, the problem that we've had in the last 7 months is that since the end of, I think it's World War I, America has been the moral authority and it has been the leader of the free world. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that America came to Europe's aid against the Germans, against Hitler. Now, I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that you have the biggest army or the biggest military in the world. Nobody has a bigger military than you, so yay you. But you, with this president, have ceased to become the moral authority. You really have. And I'm not saying people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. My own country is absolutely reprehensible. The people that run my country are assholes. I'm sorry to swear, but they are. That I have no faith in them, in their humanity at the moment. It makes no sense. And it just makes me really, really sad and very scared for the future. But it's times like these in our history that we really need to be standing together. The people who do care, who do see a child. Oh, if you line up a heap of children from all different backgrounds, different skin colors, different skin tones, different ethnicities, different religious backgrounds, all of that, if you line them all up against a wall, would you tell every single one of them that they are loved, or would you pick out the white ones, or would you pick out ones that appeal to you the most? Any decent person wouldn't do that. They're babies. But come on. This guy is unhinged. He really is. And he's scaring a lot of us, not just in your country. He's scaring people in the rest of the world as well, not just there. He's scaring all of us because I just hope he resigns soon. I really do. Anyway, let's get in. Well, we're going to do some nail art now. But yeah, again, just before I go from this rant, those of you who tell me that I don't have a right to say this, well, stuff you, because I think I do. Actually, I know I do. So back off. And if you have anything like that to say, get out of my account, go away, hide in your own little something, but don't come anywhere near me, because I will, don't. Just don't. There's no point. I have no time for it. Okay, so anyway, we're going to get into some nail art. I really hope you like it. Sort of. No, I do. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to be doing some stamping today. Moyu London were very nice and sent me a couple of their products. One in particular was some of their stamping polish. Now, I got their stamping polish before I got any stamping plates, so that's what I'm using first. Their stamping polish is really good, and also you can use it as one coat polishes. So I might have to get some more of this White Knight stamping polish, because look at that. That's one coat. Now, just word to the wise, if you are going to paint your nails with stamping polish, make sure you work really quickly, because it dries a lot faster than regular polish. That's the only thing that I wanted to make sure that you understand, because it is a lot thicker, but it also dries a lot faster. What I'm going to be doing is like a French tip cloud thing. Now, this is one of the Moyu London stamping polishes. It's the pink. It just happens to be called pink with an exclamation mark. And ordinarily I would have done the extra cloudy bit where you do a different color, but I've decided to do stamping over this in a very sort of kind of unique way. What I'm going to be doing is using Moyu London's what they call cuticle guard, which is basically liquid latex, but it is much thinner than Simply Peel, Bliss Kiss's Simply Peel liquid latex barrier. As you can see, it's very, very thin. It's like the consistency of milk, basically. So we're going to only paint that on the white, because we don't want to stamp on the white. We just want to stamp on that pink bit at the very tip. It's very special and kind of technical. Now, the stamping plate that I'm using today is a Moyu London stamping plate, but they didn't send this one to me. I got this one from Picture Polish. Now, also just need to mention that this stamping plate, the Hipster 06, is the images on it are very small. So if you have long nails, you need to get the bigger version of this plate. I believe they do have a larger version. Otherwise, you certainly wouldn't be able to cover your nail if you had sort of longer nails than me, because. But for our purposes, it's not really that big of a deal, because we're not stamping on all of the whole nail. We're only stamping on a portion of the nail. So I'm going to be using that lovely peachy color, which I painted my nails with before. By the way, that is called Skin Silk. It's like a nudie peach color. So we're going to start with this plaid design, and then after that, we're going to come in with a different plaid design from the same plate with the white stamping polish, and so make it like a layered plaid design. Now, I really love that. I think it looks really cool. So as you can see, this cuticle, they call it cuticle guard, but this liquid latex is very thin. That's why I painted a couple of coats of it. But you can see that there's some scraggly bits, because obviously it's stamping polish and it dries really quickly. But it was quite easy to just peel those off with my tweezers, and any of the little scraggly bits that were left over after that, I just used my Royal Majestic brush and my non-acetone remover just to clean that up a little bit, but very gently. You don't want to do too much, because you don't want to ruin your design. But I think I did a pretty good job, so I'm pretty proud of myself with this one. I really loved it, how it turned out. Once all of the cleanup is done, I'm going to go ahead and add a top coat. I'm using Moyu London's top coat, which they also sent me. They're not paying me for this video, but they did send me free products. And then after that, I mattified it using Cirque Colors matte top coat, because I thought it looked really cool matte, and I think I was right. And that's it for this one. I really hope you liked it. I know that I went on a bit at the beginning, but I think it was important. And I, every now and then, I like to buck the trend and say stuff that I'm not supposed to, apparently. I don't think I'm a human being, and I live on this planet with everyone else. So I think I have every right to say whatever I want. I'm not crass, I'm not rude, I don't swear a lot. So, you know, I'm not super duper offensive to anyone as far as I know. But I think I have every right to speak out if I feel like something. I mean, these were Nazis, for crying out loud. I thought this was over, and I don't understand why there's any ambiguity about it. Nazis are bad. It's done. There's no moral equivalency to that. It's done. So anyway, thank you so much again for watching. I will see you next time. Bye, chickies. Oh, and thank you for subscribing, and thanks for that delicious thumbs up. Oh, and don't forget to go and watch, whatever pops up. Just, click on that, and then don't forget to subscribe because, it's free. Okay, I'm going now. Bye.